Hi there, I'm Professor Jurus, and I just wanted to make you a quick video and show you some different things that you can do with laser prints and also Ortho Litho prints or Ortho Litho film that you have images on. Whether positive or negative, this will work. So these are just some creative ideas that you can use to show your artwork in shows, or even just make some things for your wall, or even make like interesting Christmas cards, or if you wanted to start doing custom wedding invitations. I know somebody that was doing this for custom wedding invitations, and really selling them pretty expensive. But wedding invitations are expensive anyway. But so to start with, you're going to need a either a laser image that's on laser film. So this is laser transparency film that you would buy at the Office Depot or at a store, and you need to make sure you get the one for laser printers if you're doing this. Now you can also do this with inkjet film if you get the inkjet film. Now you need to understand the difference between the two before you do this, because down at school we actually had a student put inkjet film in the laser printer, and they actually ruined a laser printer. They ruined a $600 laser printer. So you need to make sure you're using the right film for the printer that you're using. So if you're using a laser printer, you want to get laser printer transparency film. And if you're using an inkjet printer, you want to get inkjet printer transparency film. And you want to make sure it's clear. So here's a couple that I have some images on, and here's one that I've actually done already, and I'm going to show you how I did this. But this image here, like say if you wanted to use this in an exhibition, all you'd have to do is put this on a piece of paper like I have it, and have a window mat cut, and you could enter this in an exhibition. But this image here was just like this before I coded it, and so it was a laser jet positive print. It was made on a laser printer, so I just opened it up in Photoshop and printed it. And that's the way it came out. And then what I've done is I've painted the back with this Pretty Penny pigment paint. And this is an acrylic paint. It's called Momo Lamba. And I got this at that French store. You guys, there's probably one in your town if you're looking at this. It's called Target. And this is non-toxic, which is really nice. Now, there was a lady that was doing this years ago in California, and she sold her own paint, but it was kind of like model paint. I mean, you could use, if you have any old models around, or like you have some model paint, you could use that, but you kind of got to do it outside, and it really stinks. So any kind of paints that are, enamels or anything like that, you can use those, but you got to do them outside. So with this paint, this is acrylic, and it's non-toxic, and it doesn't smell at all, and it's really expensive. I think I paid $1.67 for this bottle, which is just great at the Target. So they have some cool different colors too, and you can do this with any color. I just happened to choose this copper penny, but all I basically did was put a coat of paint on there, let it dry, then I put a coat of paint going the other way, so that I had two coats of paint. And then what I have here is the image, and again, this is ready just to go into a window mat, and I could enter this in an exhibition. Or the other thing I could do with these is, you could do these any size you want. So if you did end up getting some like cardstock, you can order cardstock online, and photo cards that need to be printed or something. You could actually print like 4 or 8 of these on a sheet of 8x10 laser transparency film, little images, and then paint the whole thing, and then cut them up once it dries. And you could actually use like spray glue to glue those down on the cards. And that's the way people were making like custom wedding invitations. So you could take a picture of the bride and the groom and print them on laser printer material, cut them out so that they're cutouts, and then once they dry, after you paint them, you could just glue them with spray glue onto a cardstock and use them as a wedding invitation. You could use them as thank you cards, greeting cards. You could make your Christmas card this way, or your Hanukkah card. So there's a lot of different applications that you can do with this, and that's the reason that I'm showing you this, is because some creative ideas. So other things you can do, before I get into actually coding one, showing you how that goes, is you could actually just put a piece of colored paper, you know, behind the image. So if you were going to put this in an exhibition, like, so if you have your Ortho Litho positives, you know, once you've made them to make the negative, you say, what do I do with them? Well, what you could do is, you know, put them on top of a sheet of colored paper also. And by putting them on top of a sheet of colored paper, and these are just some that I, you know, had here, but you can see the difference in what it looks like with a different color. But you could put that in a window mat and put that in an exhibition, and artists have been doing that for a long time. You could use aluminum foil, you know, putting a piece of aluminum foil behind the image, it creates a totally different look. You know, and even a sheet of white paper. I didn't have any color typing paper right now, but if I had some color typing paper, I could, you know, put a piece of orange or a piece of red behind this and come up with a totally different look. Now, if you are using typing paper, one of the bad things about typing paper is the archivalness of it. So if you went to like the Target or your local paper store and you bought some art paper, you'd be better off if you were doing this and putting it in a window mat and you know, putting it for an entry in an exhibition to get some type of paper that was archival, rather than just like the you know, typing paper that you buy that's different colors, because that will fade. And you know, one of the, again, excuse me, one of the things I tell students that's really important when you're preparing things for exhibition, if you're going to enter them in a show, you want to make sure that they're made really archival so that they will last. You know, I've entered my stuff in shows for years. I don't know how many exhibitions I've been in. You know, probably 300 or 400 group exhibitions, and I think I've had over 50 solo exhibitions, just my work using the whole gallery in different museums and galleries. But when you do your work, you want to make sure that it is archival, so that if somebody buys the work, or if you put it in a, you know, show and they buy it, you don't want it to deteriorate after time, or them to call you up and go, yeah, that piece of typing paper you had behind there turned all yellow or brown. So you could get archival paper. Another thing you could do too is, if you wanted to, is you could actually just print. You could get some good photo paper and print a solid sheet of color and to put behind these, but that will last. Now, if you are using Ortho Litho positives for these, those are even more archival, I think, than the LaserJet material. I'm not sure what the longevity is on the LaserJet images, but if you were using Ortho Litho positive film, what I would actually do is actually selenium tone them too. And when you selenium tone them, they will take on a little richer tone and more contrasty, and they will actually show up better, I think, that for you know, for making these things. So those are just a number of different things that you can do with your Ortho Litho positives and with LaserJet images that you made on transparency film. So what I've done, let me show you real quick how I do one of these. We'll do this image right here, and I'm just going to put this image on the top of a piece of white paper here to kind of keep my thing clean. And I think for this one, I'm going to use the Gentle Elephant. So you want to make sure that you shake up the pigment that you're going to use. And again, this is really nice because it's non-toxic, and it's water soluble, so you can clean it up with water. So what I'm going to do is just a little cap on there to start with. So I'm going to use my scissors and take that off. There we go. And then you can see my pigment right there. So I'll just take a brush. I'm going to wet this brush just a minute and then wipe it down. And you can use a foam brush. Actually, I didn't have a foam brush handy, but I'm using this brush here, which was just a cheap brush from the art store. But I'm just going to dip this in there, and then I will start to paint across here. It's like that. Hold it. Okay. And I just want to paint, because I'm going to do 2 coats of this on here. So I just want to get a first coat down, you know, and get everything coated. And you can see there's brush marks, and that's one of the nice reasons I think using a foam brush might be a little bit better, because you wouldn't get the brush marks. But that you may not even need a second coat really if you were doing a foam brush. But I'm using this okay, outstanding El Cheapo brush here, and I'm going to go back and do another coat after this dries. So I'll just let this dry, and then I will do another coat to it, and then I will show you a picture of it. You know, once it dries. I could don't want to really keep you here for the whole time this is drying, but that's it. And then once this is done, I can again put this in I would put a piece of paper behind it once it's dry, before I put it in a window mat. But then I would be ready to enter it in an exhibition. So anyway, I hope that helps. If that helps, please give me a thumbs up. Please smash that subscribe button, and more videos will be coming soon. Thank you.